Hello everyone and welcome to the pre-race show of the Austrian Grand Prix, first race of the season. This is recorded late on Saturday night in Montreal, so if I miss any big news by the time the race starts, please forgive me, I'm probably asleep. So where do we start? What about the big news of the weekend that the DAS system from Mercedes, the dual axis steering, that system where you can push and pull on the steering wheel to change the toe of the car, has been deemed legal by the stewards after Red Bull filed a complaint. Their argument was that it was a suspension element, and according to the rules you cannot modify a suspension element while the car is in motion. So the big question was for the steward, is it a suspension element or is it a steering element? And they ruled that it was part of the steering system. So this is perfectly legal, and I believe Red Bull wanted some clarification on that because Christian Horner, team principal, hinted that Red Bull might have a version of the DAS system almost ready, if not ready, for their own car, and we might see it soon. It will depend if they believe it gives a real advantage, which so far we can argue that maybe it does if you look at Mercedes' performance so far this weekend. They qualified first and second, Bottas in front of Hamilton by 12,000 of a second, so it's like less than a blink of an eye. And yeah, both Mercedes really in front of the rest of the pack. We're talking like half a second here. So tomorrow's race for first and second, unless something really big happen, I believe is all Mercedes. So the real question is, who's gonna stay in front? Will Bottas be able to hold off Lewis? Will he have a good start? These are all important elements if we want to have a good race. I think we have everything in place for a good race, but first and second is pretty much locked on Mercedes in my opinion. So let's look at the rest of the pack. Max Verstappen starting third. He's going to start on the medium tire, which will give him an advantage in terms of how long he can stay on track at the beginning of the race. Will this give him enough of an advantage to pass in front of the Mercedes later in the race? I doubt it. Verstappen said that he did not had an optimal quali lap, but I don't think he had half a second that he could gain, even if his lap was not perfect. But still, starting in medium, everyone else around him in soft, including right behind him Lando Norris and Sergio Perez. So did I say Sergio Perez? I meant Alexander Albon, his teammate. So it means that Verstappen definitely will need a great start to avoid losing some positions at the beginning of the race. Norris is eager to maybe fight for a podium for McLaren. They've had a really great quali. Norris 4th and Sainz 8th. Norris definitely super happy about his lap. Sainz could have done better according to him, but he struggled all weekend with the balance of the car. And one thing we have to wonder about for McLaren, what will their race pace be like? Because during the practice sessions on Friday, we saw them damaging the car at multiple occasions while running high on the curbs. And if there's one track where you need to go on the curves and use as much track space as possible, it's the Red Bull Ring. So if their car is fragile in that matter and they cannot use as much curb as they want to, this could prove pretty tricky. They might not have a great race pace. Maybe it was okay to just, abuse the curb for one flying lap for quali, but for the race it might not be the case. We'll have to see. Albon 5th, good quali for him. Nothing much to say, he's still learning the Red Bull ropes. The two Racing Point, 6 and 9, Perez and Stroll. Perez definitely happy about his lap. Thought maybe he could get a little bit more, but it's nothing to worry about. The race is tomorrow. They have the Mercedes engine to back them up. Stroll, not the best quali lap, could have done better. He's still trailing behind his teammate, and we'll have to wonder, like, is this the year where Lance Stroll will start shining? So far he's always been in the shadows of his teammates, whether at Racing Point or at Williams, never really outperforming either. Of course, Sergio is a great driver, getting podiums when he should never get them, but still Lance needs this year to show a little bit more. He needs to show that he deserves his place at Racing Point and not being there just because he's his father's son. But we have to wonder now, the Mercedes powered team, will they be okay for the race? I'm saying that because during the testing in winter, they've had some reliability issues with their engine on Mercedes and Williams side, and this weekend we saw the Racing Point of Sergio Perez emitting smoke twice during the practice sessions. So is this something we have to worry about, or should we just believe the team claims that it's only extra oil burning the back of the car? Don't know, but with a track like the Red Bull Ring, where you're in high altitude, less air to cool down the car, and you're always full throttle. I believe it's something like 78% of the time on the Red Bull Ring you are at full throttle. The engine needs to be resistant, it needs to be able to cool down, so that's a question mark and definitely something we need to check and not forget for the race. Charles Leclerc, Ferrari, well, both Ferrari not great. Leclerc 7th, Vettel 11th. Both kind of knew that this was coming. Charles is not, did not even say that he could do a lot better. Vettel could have been in Q3 if it was not maybe for a mistake at turn 1, but still, he's seeing the positive side, saying that he's got a free choice of tire for the beginning of the race, and hopefully they can make up some ground during the race, but it's going to be tricky. We know last year they had the best engine, and this year in terms of at the speed trap, I believe they were 16th out of 20, which is awful. Charles Leclerc time in quali was almost 1 second slower than what they did last year when he got on pole position. So really that Ferrari is not what they expected, what they hoped for, and it's going to be tricky this week, maybe even next week, and we'll have to wait until Budapest to maybe see something from them. Renault Ricardo 10th, Ocon 14. Esteban Ocon not super happy with his lap, convinced he could have done better. We'll give him a little bit of credit. He's his first quali since 2018, so let's give him a chance on that. But he will have to show that Renault can make up some ground in the race. And Ricardo also convinced that his car got more under the hood. He's 10th, and he said it's mostly because when Bottas went off the track during Q3, he had to slow down and could not do better than 10th under these conditions. So let's watch for Renault. They believe they have the potential to be higher in the points. Can they beat Ferrari? Can they beat McLaren? We'll find out tomorrow. Who else do we have? AlphaTauri, the ex-Toro Rosso. They knew it was a hard weekend coming. They did not work much on the car since Barcelona in winter. 12 and 13th. They might be able to fight for a few points if they're lucky, but they don't have any high hopes for this weekend. They're gonna gather data and see where they can improve. The two Haas, Grosjean and Magnussen, also in the same position. Still trying to figure out the car. They were hoping to get out of Q1. They did it with Grosjean, but Magnussen got stuck in 16. They were good in quali last year. They were super bad in race pace. Is this the opposite this year? Will they be super bad in qualifying and dominating during the race? We'll find out tomorrow. But at the very least, if they can make up some ground and fight for points, I think everyone will be happy. Alfa Romeo, also a tough weekend for them. No one's making excuses. Kimi got a bit of traffic, and Antonio Giovinazzi kind of went off the track a little bit during his qualifying lap, starting 18 and 19. They know they have to work on the car. They know it's not what they hoped for either. But keeping the morale, I mean, maybe they can shine through the race, and if they gather some data, who knows what might happen. We have a short season, and literally everything can happen this year. Williams, I think we can be happy for them. Nicolas Latifi, yeah, he went out of the track in FP3 and damaged the car, so he was kind of walking on eggs during qualifying, but still managed to deliver something and gain experience. It's gonna start last, but George Russell starting 17 in front of the two Alfa Romeo almost made it to Q2. He actually missed it by less than 1/10 of a second. So we can say for sure now that Williams made some very good progress. If they can work in that same direction, maybe they'll be in contention for points by the end of the season, which they truly deserve, especially these days where they are struggling financially. So let's watch this, a fight between Mercedes at the top. Then for best after Mercedes, we can maybe watch for a fight between Red Bull, Racing Point, maybe even McLaren. I think Ferrari, Renault will be fighting for best of the rest, and then back of the grid, all of the other team, maybe AlphaTauri in front, like 11, 12. But for sure, I think Haas, Williams, and Alfa Romeo will not be in contention for points this time. So the race is tomorrow. Don't miss it, guys. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And have a great evening, good day. Take care.